Welcome guys. We'll be discussing CorelDRAW graphics suites, and there are different versions of this application, but I will be using CorelDRAW graphics suite 13. That's version 13. So if your own is higher, don't worry. The way we'll be doing this tutorial, we'll try as much as I can to ensure that we'll be treating the basic tools. That's those tools that will help you create your graphics without relying on a particular version. So if you have it on your system, just launch the application. If you don't have it, don't worry. I'll be dropping a link to where you can actually get the application installed on your system right in this video, below this video. So this is typically how a CorelDRAW will be launched, and as you can see, it comes with some icon. Don't worry, we are going to talk about all that. But firstly, I would like to tell us what is CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is basically a vector-based drawing program that makes it easy to create professional artwork, from simple logo to intricate technical illustration. So you are not limited in any way when you are using your CorelDRAW. You can actually create a very simple design, graphics, or make it as complicated as you feel like you want it to be. So that is the major purpose of doing this tutorial, so that we can introduce you to making use of those tools and be able to create any kind of drawing that you feel like creating. So when you first launch, this is what you are going to be presented with. Just like the name sound, we have the new, basically mean you want to create a new graphics. Recent, the ones you have created before, you want to reopen it again. You want to check the recent, it will list them out like 5, the 5 recent graphics that you have worked on. This one, you want to use it to open an existing graphics. New from templates, if you want to create a new graphics from a template that has been pre-designed for you. You want to know more about CorelDRAW tutorial, you can actually use this. What is new? What is new is a feature that is added for this new CorelDRAW, from CorelDRAW X to CorelDRAW 12 to CorelDRAW 13. What is the new features that I have added that makes this one different from the previous version? So what I would be doing now is to click on new, because I want to start a new graphic. So when you click on that, it's going to take you to a new page. Now here is as simple as it comes. But firstly, let's talk about the CorelDRAW environment. Now we have right above here, above my bar here, there is something we call the title bar. See, now the title bar basically gives you the name of the graphics you are working with, and the version 2 will be displayed there, and right below it you have what we call the menu bar. Now the menu gives you menu option in order for you to create an effective graphics. Under it we have what we call the standard bar. The standard bar, like shortcuts, some of the shortcuts from the menu bar, just the basic one that would help you in creating your graphics. We have the new icon, the open, save, and so on. Right below it is what we call the property bar. The property bar basically displays the property of currently selected tools. As you can see, as I click within the tools, you see the property changes from up here, as in the display. It tells you that the tools that you are currently selecting is the property that you are going to see on the property bar. Now it shows the property of the currently selected tools, and at the right side there we have what we call the color palettes. We are still going to discuss these ones in detail so that you understand them better. So right down here we have the pages. You can create more than one page in a CorelDRAW. It depends on the kind of graphics you are creating. If I want to create a book of 5 pages, then you have to add new pages by clicking on this plus down here. We have the scroll bar where you can scroll to the left, right, and you can scroll to the top and bottom. So that is basically introduction to the environment. So here I would want us to look at the tools in details. What are the tools, and also the color palette. But firstly, we'll be starting with the color palette first. So what does this color has to do with our graphic designing, because it's an essential part of your graphics creation. But before I can actually describe that, I want to draw one of the shape tool. Don't worry, we are still going to talk about that. Now this shape tool, let me just give it a much more line thickness. Now as a default, when you draw a shape tool, it comes with line color of black, but it comes as a blank fill, no fill, nothing inside it at all. And to prove that, I'll move it along the border of the page. So look how we have here, and this is the working area. Whatever you are doing and you want it to be printable, make sure it doesn't go beyond this space, and that you can actually work with. You can increase the size of your page by basically coming here. This is the default letter size. You can change it to an A4. You can make it a bigger paper size, A3, A2, A1. All this comes with their different sizes. If I select, leave it as letter, if you can see the 8.5 by 11 inches, that's the size. The width is 8.5, while the height is 11 inches. And if you come here and you change this to A4, the value changes. Now it changes from inches to millimeter. You can actually change your units back to inches, so that you get to see the inches equivalent. That's 8.268 by 11.69. that is for A4 standard. So I'll just want to leave it as A4, though it doesn't really matter. Don't worry, as we move on we'll get to measure what we want to do. Now here I have this box. We want to talk about the color palette. Now basically what I will just talk about on that for now is the fill color and the line color. Now this line comes in black as a default, so in order to change the color, you right click, press the right button on the color. So if I right click on this color now, it simply means I want to change the line. So anytime you press the right button on the color, it changes the line color of the object. Now if you want to apply the color to the inside, you press the left button on the color, left click, you left click on the color box, and that will give you the color inside. So right click gives me the line color, while the left click give me the fill color. Now in the case where your own system is not displaying the color box, just come to your window. Under window, you come to color palettes. There you can see, if I click on this now, it will deactivate. Now go back to window, color palette, and activate your color bars to come back on screen. Now you might want to choose, you might want to be choose between any of this one, but as standard, if you are doing a printing work, you have to go for CMYK. But if what you are building, you are putting it online on Instagram, on social media, you make use of RGB color palette. But standardly we use CMYK most times, and don't use two at a time, so that you don't mix them up together. You don't want to use a color that will not be would change color when you export or take your graphics to an external application. So just make sure you stick to that CMYK for now. Now let's move to the toolbox. Now the toolbox, we want to look at how we can make use of these tools to bring out our graphics. So firstly, I will remove this one. But on the toolbox, before we talk about any other tools, I want us to talk about the shape tools. Now with the shape tool, as just like it's displayed, all you have to do is to click on it and you draw your shape. Now we have the rectangle tools, we have the ellipse tool, and also we have the polygonal tool. Just select the tool first, then you draw out on your screen. Then it's going to give you exactly what you are seeing there. Now down here we have what we call the basic shapes. So all these are shapes that you can actually draw out from here. So all I have to do is to click the category of the shape tool that I want. This is the banner shape, for example. When you click the banner shape, you check on the property bar, it shows you the different kind of banners you can draw from there. I can draw this kind of shape with my banner tools. See that? So I can still go there on my property bar and choose another kind of banner if this is the banner that I want. Now when the banner comes with these two guys, it simply means you can reshape it to whatever shape you want. So, and that will bring us to shaping objects. Now when you draw any of this shape, you can actually reshape them. But in order to reshape them, you need what we call the shape tool. Now with this shape tool, click on an object. It comes with nodes. So all of this node tells me where I can actually adjust them. So if I drag a rectangle or a square from the node, what that simply will do is it will convert the edges to what? A rounded edge. Now take note of the property bar. You notice a value is moving. So that value that is moving there is equivalent to this one that I'm dragging. So I can actually come here and specify the value I want manually myself. So by the time I press my enter key, notice I only change one of those values, of those 4 values. But if I press enter, all the edges will adjust together. In the case where I want to adjust only one of the edges, what I have to do in that case is I have to remove this lock icon. By clicking the lock icon there simply means when I come here to specify a value, only that edge will be affected. Can you see? If I make this one 0 now, that will be 0. I can come here and make this 0. This might be what I actually wanted, and in the end you see yourself having this kind of shape. Now that's for rectangle 2. When you drag the edge, it gives you a rounded edge. And also we have for circle. In the case of circle 2, if you select your shape 2 on the circle, when you drag the node, it gives you this shape. And there are 3 shapes you can actually get from a circle. We have the ellipse, we have the pie, and we have the arc. The circle simply gives you a full circle, while a pie gives you a part of the circle being chopped off. And here we have an arc. The arc there simply talks about a circle that is line is, the closed line is missing. So it's just a line around the circle. With that, you can actually, reshape this one to whatever shape you want. So if what I want is an arc and it's giving me a pie like this, I can actually come up here and just click arc. But if I want it to be in form of pie, I'll select pie. But if you want your full circle back, you can always click on this. But if you want your pie, you select pie and you adjust it to the angle of pie you want. If it is something like this you want, then you use it like that. That's for ellipse. If you want the full circle back, just click, it's going to come back in full circle. But for polygon, when you draw a polygon with a polygon tool, you can actually specify the number of edges you want the polygon to have. If I want this polygon to be 8-sided polygon, I'll just come there and press my enter key. It's going to convert that to 8-sided. If you want it to be 4-sided, just go there and specify your 4-side. So if you want it to be 5 back, so just type 5. And this polygon, you can, definitely, just like every other shape tool, you can expand it, you can make it smaller. And here I can take my shape tool now. With my shape tool, what the shape tool will do on this is to convert this to a star. So just drag one of the node, the edge, you can convert it to a star. And that star, if you want it to be a perfect star, you have to hold down the control key when you drag. And you can take it further, you can even drag it to the edge to give you a different shape. If I give this a fill color, see what I have, more like a diamond. So I can convert it back to my normal star by dragging it backward. I can push it out, whichever way you want to do it. Now this could even be used as a logo. I can do something like this and assume that's a logo for a company. So it all goes on and on. So those are the basic 3 shape tools that we have. Now with your shape tool, you can actually reshape them that way, and they will give you the different shape that you are seeing on screen there. Now the other tools I want to talk about is the pick tool. That's the first tool from here. Now what's the basic function of a pick tool? It's basically using selecting. Now that's the first function. It's using selecting an item. And aside from selection would allow you to actually focus on that item, focus on that object, and then format it the way you want. Now apart from selecting, you use it to resize as well. Resize to make it bigger or smaller. So when you want to make it bigger, you drag it and stretch it out. When you want to make it smaller, you pull it in. So that is resizing. You use the pick tool to do that. And aside from resizing too, you use it to move the object from one position to another. That is the shape tool. Selecting, resizing, then move. You can move any of your object, but you have to make sure you select your pick tool in order for that to be effective. And aside from the selection, the movement, and the resizing, you use it to skew an object, to skew and rotate. But in order for the skew and rotate option to come out, you have to click on your object once more to give you these edges. So at first it will be this kind of node, but when you click it again, it gives you these edges. Now the edges, the icon at the edge, they are meant for rotating, while the one by the side, top side and the left and right side, they are meant for skewing. What does skew, what does rotate mean? Rotate will basically turn your object around like that. Why in the case of skew makes your object bend. You can see I can bend an object with my skew effects. I can bend this one upward, I can bend it downward by simply dragging it from the side. So all these are skew angle, while these ones are rotating angle. So basically this can actually apply to any object. I can skew this now. See that? I can skew it by bending it, and I can rotate it as well. Rotating will basically turn it around like that. So just drag the rotating angle and it gives you what you want. So that is the pick tool. Basic function of the pick tool is for selecting, resizing, moving, and then skew and rotate. So activate skew and rotate, just click on it again, then you can rotate, and at the same time you can skew your object. Alright, so that is the pick tool. The other tools I want us to look at right now is the zoom tool. The zoom tool basically helps you to zoom out a section of your drawing to make it much more viewable. I can zoom it out by right-clicking. Right click on it, zoom out. And in order for you to see it clearer, if I want to see this one clearer, I'll just draw my zoom box, zoom selection box. Just click and drag as if you are drawing a box. Then that section would come closer, so I can right click to take it back. If I want to zoom my page, I'll just draw my zoom box around that page, and automatically it's going to give you this. Now, one thing I did not mention earlier when I was drawing the rectangle is when you have a page, if you come to the rectangle tools and you double click on the rectangle, automatically it's going to insert a rectangle shape that fill up the space, the workspace. That's your page, your working area. When you double click on the rectangle, automatically to insert a rectangle that has the same size, exactly the same size. Whatever the size of your page is going to give it a rectangle that's exactly the same size of that page. So that is just by the way. Let's use this shape to make a meaningful design or a meaningful graphics. Now, for example, I could actually create my cross. If I want to create a cross, for example, I could just use a rectangle to do a rectangle shape like that. Then I will draw another rectangle that goes across it this way. See what I have? And these two, I can just give them a color. Maybe I want blue color in both cases. Now look at it, that's like a cross. And if I want to make it look as if the cross is having a nail at the center, I could just draw a circular shape there. If you want to make it a perfect circle, you can hold down your control key. See that? And I can give that a black color. See that? That could be seen as a wonderful design. And if I don't want that cross to have a nail, I just want it to be a perfect blended cross, I can remove this, and all I need to do is to remove the line color. You can see this box is having a line of black. So in order to remove the line color, you come here. Remember, if you want to work with line color, you right click. But this time around, I want to remove the color. I will right click on this cancel on the color box. So that will basically remove the line. You remove the line of this one too. You right click. So the line color goes away. So that's how to draw a color. You can make use of any color you want. Just make sure both of them are in the same color, and it gives you that. You might want to draw a moon-like shape as well. So probably I will just move this one to one side. So to get a moon, you can draw a circle. Hold down your control key to get a perfect circle. Now the circle, I'll give it a few colors as well. Now with that color, I'll say no line color. Now you can duplicate your circle, you draw another one. To duplicate a circle, you can just move the circle with your left button, but before you drop it, you right click. Right clicking move a moved object simply means you want to duplicate it. To show you that cross sign, the cross sign below the pointer, that tells you are now duplicating. So this one, I can give it the same color as the background. so that it mixes up with the background. So reduce the upper circle, make it smaller compared to the one, and resize it to what you want. You can see this magenta color is already giving me a moon-like shape. Now you can still go a step further by drawing a polygon like this, and that polygon you can convert it to a star shape. I'm sure you know what this is looking like already. That's it's looking like the Islamic logo. So I can give this black while I give this one to a black color. So you can actually create something meaningful out of your tools, and it will still give you what you have there. So there are so many things that you can actually create out of that. I could draw a rectangle. You can combine all these shapes together. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to, you know, work with it separately. And this I could just position it there and give it a color, you know, just make something meaningful out of it. Give this a line thickness, and see, that's a cross. You know, it can go on and on and on. Yeah, let's talk about the line tool. Now the line tool is directly under the zoom tool. Now if you notice, some of the tools are having small triangle at the tail end. Only the pick tool and the test tool does not have that features, and that feature simply means that there are more tools. Just press and hold, you see other tools fly out, so we call that the fly out. But for now, we'll just be focusing on the first two on each of those tools. Then in the course of working with our project, we are going to touch other tools and see how they actually function. The most important of all the tools are basically the first two, except for the interactive tool here that has other tools that are very, very helpful. So here we just click on the freehand tool. That's the one, that's what we use in drawing our line. Now how do you use the freehand tool for the line tools? All you have to do is to come on your screen, create a drop a point. Now after you click to drop a point, go to another section where you want the line to end. So this, whichever angle you draw it, is going to be a line. So I can just move my mouse to the other end. If I want it to be a perfect straight line, you hold down your control key. Control key simply means straight line, but might not necessarily be in horizontal. You can push your straight line to vertical, and you can make it slant as well. But holding down the control key will basically make it jump at an interval of 15 degree or so. So here I actually want this to be a perfect straight line like this. I'll just draw and dump it there. So that is your straight line, and I can probably come here and draw another straight line by clicking here. I hold down the control key again to draw another straight line. And one thing about your straight line is you can actually continue. It's continuous because you can see I have node at both ends. So if I want to continue with this my straight line now, all I need to do is to come and click from this edge with the same freehand tool. I'll click the edge, then go to another section and dump it. I can actually use this to draw a triangle. Now from that same edge, you see another dot there that you can still continue. Just click it and come and join it back to the beginning. So by doing that, I've just drawn a triangle with my straight line tools. So you can actually draw any kind of shape with that. So I can still go back there with my line. Maybe I want to draw a right angle triangle. I'll just bring it down, hold down the control key to make this perfect vertical line. Click from that same dot again and move forward. Then from this same dot, I'll click and I'll join it back up there. Can you see what we have there? We have just created a right angle triangle. We might not be able to get this with a polygon tool. A polygon tool can only give you a triangle if I make it a three-sided polygon. See what I can have with a polygon. But if you want to get this, you might need to use your freehand tool. So with the freehand tool, you can actually do that. And apart from drawing straight line, your freehand tool can draw as if you are using a pencil tool. I can just click and drag, then I can draw whatever I like. So let me just draw something meaningful with this. And I want to draw something like a Nigerian map, for example. So I'll just select that freehand tool, then I'll drag in the shape of a Nigerian flag. I might not get something perfect, but I'll just get something close to a Nigerian map. So look at that, this goes up a bit, come down. So by just dragging on the screen and bringing up the shape the way it should be, so I can actually get something close to a Nigerian map. See what I have. So you can see now that is looking close to it, and you can see it automatically fine-tuned it. That's because when the freehand tool was selected, it says here that the free smoothness should be 100%. If I want this Nigerian map to come out the way it is, in that case, by the time I click on that freehand tool, I'll need to make this something like smoothness of 10, meaning that I want it to come out exactly the way I've drawn it. So I'll come back here now and try to redraw that again. Just trace it out, you know, a Nigerian map. So I'll come down this way. I might not get it as, you know, as perfect as the previous one, but at least I'll get something close. So look at that, this going up, come back, then here I have this, and I join it back to the beginning. Look at what I have here. Now this looks better now. It was not fine-tuned like the previous one. So this now I can actually give it whatever color I want. You just come there and apply the color. So that's the map of Nigeria with my freehand tool. You can actually do a freehand drawing with that freehand tool. So just click it and draw whatever you want. Like I said, if you want to draw a straight line, you have to click a point, then go down, don't drag. Click a point and then move your mouse to another section where you want the line to end. Then you just click there. And when you click, if you feel you want to continue that line, you can continue. Maybe I want another line from this junction downward, and that is using the freehand tool. And if you notice, the line are coming in tiny form. I can actually make it much more thicker. So when you draw your line on the property bar, you see the features of the line too. Now you can convert the edges to arrow, which I'll touch, but let's give it a line thickness by coming here, outline width. When I click here and I can choose the thickness that I want, I can come here and say, okay, I want 8 points. It makes the line thicker more. I can do the same thing with this one, give it a 4 points, it becomes thicker. And if I want to change the line color, remember line color is right click on color, the line color comes out. If I want it to be red, I right click on the red color. And also I might feel, because this is line, a straight line, there is no end to this line. So I'll basically click here and there is a end to that line. I'll just click there to apply that. Okay, to that end it should have an arrow, and to this other end I want another type of arrow shape. So you can choose how you want your line to be. So you can see I've just converted that to an arrow. So the same thing I can do to this one. I can say, okay, this other end I want it to be this kind of arrow, but because the line is not thick enough, I can come here and thicken it so that you can show the arrow better. Now this other end, now I might want it to be a straight line. I'll just go down to where I have a straight line that I want to use, and it give me something of that nature. Look at that. So you can actually do and undo with that. After drawing the line, you can, the shortcut to bring up an outline pen is by pressing F12 on your keyboard. When you press F12 on the keyboard, it's going to bring up an outline pen. The right method to do that on your tools is to come here and you click on this first icon. You can see as I rest my mouse pointer on this, it's giving us the outline pen, and from here too I can choose the line thickness that I want. This last one is 24 points. It's going to make it very thick. I can go back there, I will say, sorry, I want a smaller size. But when you press your F12, it brings up the shortcut. Now there we have all the tools. You can see the arrows that we have selected. I can change the arrow head to another kind of head, maybe this type of head. So after changing that, it won't show there until you click your OK button, but I still want to make some other settings like I might want this to be 4.9. I don't want it to be 8 points again. So by click your OK button, that will take effect. So look at that, the head changes and the line thickness reduces as well. Still back to the line thickness. Let me press my F12. Okay, let's increase the line thickness of this from here manually to 24. If I wanted to take note of something, click back on this. Let's say this should be 8. So take note of this edge. You notice it's having a very sharp edge. Now if I press F12, now I can tell this time that I don't want mine to have sharp edge again. Look at this sharp edge, the selected one. And I say no, this is what I want. So by the time I click that, if I click my OK button, watch the edge. Can you see it's not sharp again? It's now coming in a curve shape. I can still go back there, click here and press the outline pen dialog. Then I may say, okay, this is what I want. I want a cut edge like this. If I click my OK button, the edges will be cut edge. So you can choose whichever edge you want by basically doing that, let's increase the line thickness of this so that you can see the effect more. If I press my F12 now, I can still go there and say I want a rounded edge. It's going to give me something of this shape. And one thing about this is you can still reshape it with your shape tool. Select your shape tool and then shape it whichever way you want. I can still pull it up. If I feel I want to add another node here, I can just click here. When you click on a line, you can come here and click on plus. It's because I actually use freehand to draw it. That's why I can do this at will. But this one that I drew with a polygon tool, this triangle I drew with a polygon tool earlier. If you come here and you try to move, it's going to convert it to star. But this one is not going to convert to star. It will give you a shape like this because it's a shapeable object. I can actually draw from the shape tool too. I can reshape object from the shape tool as a shapeable object. But when I first draw, if I take my shape tool, it's not shapeable. It can only go in this angle. That's for a rectangle. I'm sure you still remember this. But if I want this to be a shapeable object, I need to go to arrange and I'll convert that to curve. Converting to curve, then this is now shapeable object. I can drag this now into shape. I can double click here and drag this down. You know, I can click here. Either I double click to add a node, or I can click here and click plus. You are going to do the same thing. So here now I can drag it up to give me what I have there. You know, you can actually shape your object whichever way you want it, and that is basically whatever. I just double clicking to add node, you can reshape it to whatever you want. I can add another node here now and pull it in. See that? I can add another node here and pull it out. You know, you can always shape it to whatever you want. And another thing you can do is, this is a straight line now, and I want it to be in curve shape. So by clicking that, I'll just click on convert line to curve on my property bar. Convert line to curve basically allow me to curve this object. See, this object is now curvable. I can shape it whichever way I want. I can convert this straight line to curve now by clicking the line. I'll say convert line to curve. See this option here, convert line to curve. Then I can pull it out from the line. Then it's going to give me convert line. We are still going to talk about this shape tool and the curve objects more in the later stage. Thank you. In the case where you need to type text in your document, you need what we refer to as a text tool. And the text tool can be used in creating two different types of tests. We have the artistic text and we have the paragraph text. The artistic tests are created in order to have a designed text. And if you want to create that, you just click with your text tool on the page. It gives you a blinking cursor. There you type in your text on your page. Now don't worry, I'll show you the difference between this and a paragraph. For paragraph text, you are not just clicking to type, but you are drawing a box like shape before you start typing, as if you are creating a text box. So you draw a box like shape and you type the text you want. So look at that. Now let me zoom it out. Now what's the difference between these two? Now if you notice and look closely very well, as a default, artistic text type in font size 24, but as a default for paragraph, you type in font size 12. That's one difference. The other difference you have between them is artistic text does not have box around it. Rather, when you click on it, it will show you this dot. But for a paragraph text, it will always have box around it like this. This box is not printable. It's just to tell you. You can see it's dotted line. It's imaginary line. It's just to tell you that okay, this is a paragraph text. And with an artistic text, you can resize it by dragging the edge, or you can come here and choose the font size. But this is what makes this different. You can actually drag it directly and the size will increase. But for a paragraph text, if you drag the edge of the node, it's not going to affect the size of the text. The text will remain the same size, but rather it will only change the number of line a text is. If I drag this way now, look at that text coming down from this line to the next line. If I keep dragging, it becomes 3 lines again. So I can keep having that. But if I stretch it out, because every of that text can actually contain that box, it comes on a straight line. So if you need to type 2-line paragraph, 3-line paragraph, it is expected that you use a paragraph text. But if you want to do a a one-line design, a one-line text design. In that case, you make use of artistic text. We are going to be working on a project that requires to use a paragraph text, and we'll be working more with artistic text in most of our design projects. Now all I need to do is to draw a box-like shape. Now with the box shape I have here, I need to give it a width and a height, because a standard core card comes with a width of 3.5. We type the value in there, and down there we have the height, so you type 2.0, then you press your enter key. That will be applied to the box, so you can take your zoom to and zoom that out. So like I said, this is just a sample. I will still be working on the project where we'll talk about how to create a core card, business card of different types. So I'll just make this as simple as possible. Let's just make use of some of the tools that we have used before. So I'll just probably come here, divide this into half, then give this a fill color. Maybe I want this color down here. So up here will be where we'll have the name of the holder of the card. So I'll just click with my text tool. But what I want this time around is an artistic text. So just click and type. So the name of the holder is Ajayi Temitope. Then after typing this, I can use my pick tool. Remember, with the pick tool you can resize, you can move an object, you can position it where you need it. So what color do I want? Maybe I want the same blue color as this color. So with my text tool now, I can click again and type another text, director of training. Now with this, I can take my pick tool now, reduce, make it smaller, or I can just specify the size that I want from here, then position it where I need it. So give this a color. I can come for this color and use that. If this font size is too big, I can make it much more smaller and just position it down there. Bold, remove the boldness, let's just give it italic. So down here is where I want to now put the company name and the address. So taking my text tool, I can click and I'll type topside infotech. Now after typing this, I can take my pick tool now, make it smaller, position it there, and give this a color of white. See that? Now when I was typing there, I didn't use white color because I have a white background, but here now this is a blue background, so I need to give it a color that is contrasting from the background. So that's why I'm using white. So using white here will be better, or I can go for a color like this, at least something that will show better on this. So I'll take my text tool now to type the address and some other information. So I'll just take my text and click, but when I click, it will come as size 24 as a default. I can actually reduce this before typing, maybe to like 10 in my font size there. Then you can then type in whatever you want, 19 or don't let me. Lagos. So there I have a phone number 00 89469906 and 070383398. Then the website www.topsites.com.ng. So if you notice, I type this together because they will be having the same font size, the same font color. So I can take my pick tool now, give them the font color. Then I want to move them to the center. I need to centralize them, so you can come up here beside the bold, italic and underline. So you just say center. They all move to the center, and I need to make them probably smaller more. You can position them wherever you need them to be. So look at that. That's a simple core card.
All right. So that this will not stand like a lunar, this red color that is here. Let's play around with something by just using our ellipse tool here. Draw a circle somewhere around there. Hold down the control key to make it a perfect circle. Then you give it the same color as this, and remove the line color by right clicking on the no color up there. So when you right click on no color, it simply means you are removing the line color. Now take your freehand tool, that's for the line. So I'll click from here. You want to draw a straight line, just go to the other end, hold down the control key to make it a perfect line. Now that line, I'll give it a line thickness by basically coming up here, give it a thickness, and also I want the line to be the same color, magenta. So that is what we have there. So that's basically your core card, and anybody can actually use this. I hope with this little knowledge you can actually create your own core card too. Now it's time for us to save what we have done. Whenever you do something of note, something you don't want to lose, when you close down your application, you might need to save it on the system. And these graphics, now in order for us to save it, you click the file menu. Under the file, you click on save as, because you have not saved it before. When you click on save as, it's going to bring up the save as option. Take note of where you want to save it. If I want to save it on my desktop now, just click on desktop, then you type the name you want to use. I can call it core card. Now with that, just click on save. So the moment you type core card, you see the save as type. So you just choose the save as type. It's CorelDRAW you are saving it as, unless you have other file type you want to save it. You might want to save it as CorelDRAW presentation exchange, so that you can use this same file probably elsewhere. But standardly you save it as CorelDRAW, and if in the course of your saving you want to be able to open it in a lesser version, you can come to the version here and choose the lesser version. But if you still be opening it on this system, or you are sure you are not going to a lesser version system, probably maybe you want to copy this file to another system, then just leave it as 13. But for example, if you are working on version 18 and you know that, okay, probably after you save you want to copy the work and open it on a smaller version like this version 13, you might need to beat down the version so that it allows you to open, and then you click on save. So the moment you click on save, that will be saved. If you check up here now, what we have there before was CorelDRAW X3 and we have graphics 1, but now it has changed. Can you see the core card there? That's the part where this file was saved. So this file is saved. Now if I should close down this one and I come back here and I'll say open, so under the open I can actually search for the file, that's core card. So if you just click within your file there and you search for core card, you see there. So the moment you click on open, it's going to open back. You can always open it back anytime, any day. So zoom it out to see what we have there. So that is our core card.
Yeah.